Congresswoman Underwood calls out Secretary Noem on taxpayer-funded military parades, massive cybersecurity cuts, and the well-being of DHS employees. Here's what she demanded.
Chair now recognizes for second round the ranking member from Illinois, Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Noem, you've designated the Army's 250th birthday parade in Washington, D.C. on June 14th as a national special security event, meaning DHS will use taxpayer funding to help with enhanced security and support. June 14th is also President Trump's 79th birthday. At the same time that this administration is canceling critical cybersecurity and disaster recovery funding under the guise of so-called waste and abuse, it's being publicly reported that this event will involve a full military presence crossing the Potomac from the Pentagon to Constitution Avenue. We recently received your fiscal year 2025 spend plans for the Secret Service, but the costs for this event were not included. What do you estimate you'll be spending on this, and how do you plan to pay for it?
I can get those details and get back to you. I don't have them with me today, but I will certainly take that as a follow-up to your question.
Okay. Do you plan to designate NSSEs for the birthdays of other branches of our armed services that do not share their birthday with the president, but also happen to be celebrating their 250th anniversaries in 2025?
I will look and work with the administration and with the different departments and agencies to identify what would be appropriate for all of those, and we'll continue to keep you updated on that as well.
Now I want to focus on CISA for a moment. America is under constant and growing threat from cyber criminals and foreign adversaries, as we're still seeing with Salt Typhoon. Last week you said we should, quote, just wait for the president's grand cyber plan. But you have not waited to erode the department's cyber defense capabilities by removing resources and personnel from CISA and other components. Meanwhile, bad actors are burrowing further into the critical infrastructure of this country. On what date can we expect to receive the president's cyber plan, and why are you moving forward now with workforce reductions and other changes to relevant DHS components without it?
CISA's mission is to hunt and harden and to work with our state and local entities on critical infrastructure. So to support cybersecurity infiltrations that would happen from enemies and bad actors when it comes to electrical grids, water systems, support those states, those small and medium-sized businesses that can't afford that kind of defense system themselves, and to go and walk alongside of them. I think one of the most alarming things that I heard when I was first nominated for this position, but before I was sworn in, I got briefings from CISA and from the leadership team and the people that were there. And one of the things that they shared with me was that they were aware of Salt Typhoon and Volt Typhoon, but they didn't know necessarily how they had happened yet or how to stop them into the future. That was alarming to me. It was alarming to me that we had the nation's top leading cybersecurity agency that didn't know how to stop the PRC and our enemies from coming in and hacking into our systems. And if we think a pandemic was scary, wait until the PRC in China comes in and shuts down our electricity.
Obviously.
And
so
our
when
water.
Are we getting
so
the president's cyber plan?
That is what CISA is focusing on, is making sure that we're approaching cybersecurity from the importance that it is.
I had a direct question.
Yes.
Do you know when the president's cyber plan will be released?
It will be coming out shortly, and that is the president's prerogative.
Okay.
I have been advising him on what that will look like.
Despite the growing cyber threats, your budget cuts nearly $500 million. $500 million from the main agency charged with protecting our federal networks and so much more. So if you are so outraged by the threat of the PRC and our federal networks, why are you cutting $500 million? When you recently spoke at the RSA conference, you said that we needed to put CISA, quote, back on mission. But let's be clear, that mission is designated for you. We in the Congress told you in the department and CISA how to execute on that mission. And you all have been moving money away from CISA, and that does not help achieve that mission. Lastly, Secretary, as a nurse, I have always prioritized taking care of the health of our DHS workforce and giving them the tools that they need to do their jobs, not just physically, but mentally. DHS has made great strides in recent years here with popular programs that provide personnel and their families with the resources that they need and the support for the mental health of our agents and officers. I hope that these programs can continue for fiscal year 2026. And I'm curious if you agree that this is a priority for the department, and will we see continued funding for it in the budget request?
Absolutely, we will continue to focus on the priorities of the healthcare needs of all of our employees.
Great. Well, although we disagree on many other issues, I hope that taking care of the hardworking men and women at DHS can be an area of shared values and bipartisan success, and I'm looking forward to working on them together. I yield back.
Thank you.
Kristi Noem faced pointed questions from Congresswoman Underwood about a military parade scheduled for June 14th, coinciding with President Trump's birthday, and how taxpayer funds will be used for enhanced security. Underwood questioned the optics and fairness of designating this parade as a national special security event while other critical programs, such as cybersecurity and disaster recovery, face cuts. Noem sidestepped the exact spending numbers, promising to follow up, which raised concerns about transparency and accountability for the use of public funds. Beyond optics, the questioning delved into cyber defense. Underwood highlighted the alarming reality that while threats like Salt Typhoon and Volt Typhoon from foreign adversaries are actively targeting U.S. infrastructure, DHS has cut nearly $500 million from CISA, the agency responsible for securing federal networks. She pressed Noem on how she can justify these budget cuts while claiming to prioritize cybersecurity. Noem responded with broad statements about hardening critical infrastructure and supporting state and local entities, but did not fully address the contradiction between reduced funding and rising threats. Finally, Underwood shifted focus to the DHS workforce, emphasizing mental health and well-being programs for employees and their families. She underscored that supporting agents' physical and mental health is critical to maintaining mission readiness and effectiveness. Noem acknowledged these priorities, promising continued focus and funding for fiscal year 2026, offering at least one area of bipartisan agreement amid broader disputes. This exchange is illustrative of larger patterns in government oversight. Elected officials must balance ceremonial or political priorities with operational security, fiscal responsibility, and the well-being of those executing the mission on the ground. It also underscores a tension in leadership, publicly framing priorities versus allocating the necessary resources to back them up. For viewers, this hearing offers a lesson in how accountability, transparency, and human impact intersect in public administration. If you want to see more analysis that digs behind the headlines, showing not just what is said, but why it matters for citizens and national security, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Left Lens.